Up, guys. All right, cool. We're going to kick it off with AU for today. I'm currently in a GU buy as well that I'll give a bit of a brief walk through in a moment. And premium guys will give you a full detailed breakdown of why I took it, even though it's pre-market. So looking at AU, like I've been speaking about, not expecting this supply area to hold, and we're starting to get that push through it now, which is great. I only want to be buying on AU. I see this whole supply area now as completely invalidated. No reason to be looking for sells out of it or fighting this momentum. News yesterday had that setup play out exactly how I wanted, pretty well exactly to the T of how I drew it. Create that internal retest with that break, come down, sweep it, and push. So we got that set up yesterday thanks to news. Couldn't do anything with it. That's all right, is what it is. We have then broken to the upside, created this internal range, retested, swept the retest. However, this demand area has not induced any liquidity, so I will not be looking to trade out of it. However, I'm not interested in trying to sell through it, given the bullish momentum. So the only thing that I'll be looking for, I do see this as a valid medium inducement. If we can pull down and induce that, I'm happy to buy up from there. Cool. All right. Now I'll move over to GU and then I'll do EU. So GU's coming out of that supply area. It is the extreme on the 15-minute external and more or less like a decisional area of our hourly leg. We are reacting out to this decisional area from that 4-hour break, giving us a really good push. So there is high potential that we do drive through this area and then get that continued sell off from there. However, the other side of this is this area is valid to hold to come and take out that high. So very well may do that, and this very well may be setting up much bigger time frame and higher time frame retest of that weekly break that we've got just there. Because if we're looking at it from a weekly time frame, think about the weekly lows down here, that fits quite nicely for retest. So very well may be setting that up. But in terms of the setup and what we've got just now, so you've got our supply to demand area here, which swept liquidity, obviously led to the break. You've then had a bigger push, brought in a lot of buyers with this leg here, broken to the downside. So one inducement, two inducement into a valid demand area. And we've retested this bearish break very, very nicely. Because I view this as retest, I see this whole range here as an invalid range for sellers, and that sellers are just going to be getting trapped inside of this leg. So that's really the outlook for buyers is valid demand, sellers trapped, got liquidity to target, and I've also got low outside of Asia low. So I've got a valid medium inducement. So a few different aspects to this trade, which I really, really liked. Obviously getting a great reaction with it at the moment. Didn't spend long in drawdown at all, and getting a nice push through. So for this trade, I will be holding this longer term. I got my alert here at 1 to 3, which I'm planning on just partialing out. I'll close 50% there, and it will take the rest at like a 1 to 7 at the retest if it does get there. I don't believe this range makes sense to hold. I don't think that this area is going to hold for very long, but I believe that it does have enough strength to be able to push us up and take this retest, given the context. You've also got a decisional point here that should be marked in white. Got a decisional area, and we've got our extreme area up there of this internal range. So we should be able to get the push through, inducement, mitigation, sell off from there if this point's going to hold. So that's the thoughts behind it. In terms of what you could look for now on GU, really come down, induce this, and you could buy. That's a valid medium inducement. Could see this as a medium inducement. I just don't really. It is the low that swept Asia low and has had a break to the upside. This is also, you could say, Frankfurt area. Well, it is Frankfurt area, so you could look at it as Frankfurt trap. Context, though, I don't see it as that. I'd really be waiting for sells. I think sells from here are, one of the better outcomes for it. But price has to get there first, which obviously is why I'm buying it up to it. So we'll see if that plays out. Going over to EU. EU doesn't have a whole lot. Yeah, good divergence here as well. So you've got GU obviously respecting, GU inducing and EU respecting. So the divergence is quite nice with that. So on EU, I'm seeing this at the moment. Break, generation of internal retest, sellers induced, sweep the retest, sell from there. The other side of this is if we can understand that that's our 15-minute external leg. That was our break. We've now retested it. If we push up here and sweep this, that's also going to create this as internal retest of that break. So it makes sense to get that push, sweep of retest, generation of retest, sell, sweep of retest, which aligns with GU sweeping, mitigating, selling. So all the context really just lines up beautifully at the moment. Structure is very, very clean today. This is what I've been waiting for really throughout the week. The only issue that I see with EU is just given where price is reacting from at the minute. I think it can come much, much higher. So sellers are a little bit iffy in that sense, but it is reacting out of a 2-hour point as well as a 4-hour area. Both are really the same, much of a muchness. So yeah, on EU, all I'd be looking for is to have price come up, take this high here. It is also the high outside of Asia, 15-minute 2 legs. So you're going to be inducing sellers and then get that sell off from there. This is a little bit of a decisional area here as well, and you've got your extreme. And obviously this leg did induce nice liquidity. So looks good, sitting nicely. No need to go over the DXY just because we've got such good context between the two on their divergence at the moment. So we'll leave that as is. News today, I don't believe there's much in the way of news from memory because we had NFP yesterday. Yeah, it's just yeah, you had that news like half an hour ago. And then you've got red folder in New York. So that's it really. Awesome. Sweet. Easy guys. We'll wrap her up there and I'll speak to you all soon.